A few months ago, I was invited by the government of Israel to attend the Global Christian Media Summit in Jerusalem.
And while you were there, Dick, you saw firsthand what's happening in Israel, and you met some key people.
Yes. What was a coincidental meeting became a godly connection with a man named Chaim Malespin, who is today's guest.
This is such an insightful interview with Chaim, right from Israel. Stay with us for LifeLine Today.
Welcome to LifeLine Today. Joan, we have a great program lined up, and it has a lot to do with our guest, who I met very coincidentally in Israel. His name is Chaim Malespin, and I'll say a little more about that in a moment. But we were taken as part of the 7th Christian World Media Conference, or Summit, they call it.
Yeah.
And it's paid for by the government of Israel, although you had to pay your own travel, your air expense. And it was a long flight for me. I had to go Calgary, Los Angeles, Tel Aviv. And then there was some mix-up in my arrangements, and I was on the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem with no place to go.
And I was praying for you here at home, right?
I know, but I kind of saw it as an adventure.
Yeah, I know you would.
It was fun, but, well, of course, I'm familiar with, we've been there 4 times.
But it's interesting, Dick, the reason that they asked you to come, they invited you to come, they had people from all over the world.
There was 120
You were the only
of
one,
us.
I think, from Canada that went. But basically, they wanted to take you to sites and meet people who talked and shared about what's really happening in Israel, because we are in the media, and they wanted you to know the truth.
Well, let me talk about...
Because you don't always get the truth in the legacy media.
Well, let me talk about Chaim, because we want to go into this. We just pre-taped this interview, but with him. But we get on a bus, because we're not a touring.
Yeah.
We go see certain sites that are in the news. That was only 2 days of the 7. And there's an empty seat beside me, and who sits there is Chaim. So then, as the trip goes on, we get to know each other. I find out he's IDF. He's been in special forces. He's a messianic believer. Find out all these things. Plus, he has a ministry. A phenomenal person.
Yeah.
And then his father-in-law is from Canada. So we felt lots of coincidences here. We connected very well on the trip. Let's go in right now. This is our interview with Chaim. Hey, welcome to the program, Chaim. It's good to see you all the way from Israel.
It is great to be here. Thank you. You guys do a wonderful job on LifeLine Today.
Yeah. Well, we want you to know that actually this month we've started supporting your ministry, as I sent to you sometime earlier, on a regular basis. But we really were interested in how we connected. Quite coincidentally, I was on a bus with the Christian Media Summit, and who sits in the seat next to me for the entire day on that was yourself, and it was a real divine appointment, in my opinion.
And I was at home praying for divine appointments for Dick while he was in Israel, and I felt like you were an answer to prayer.
Yeah.
And when he came home and told me about your ministry, I said to Dick, we need to support this ministry. And so that's how this came about, and because our hearts are so much for Israel.
Yeah, we do quite a bit in our programs supporting Israel. We're one of the few that will actually do that.
Yeah.
And but we feel very strongly about it, that this is what we need to do. So we want to just talk to you about your prophecy-fulfilling ministry, which is in the Galilee, called the Aliyah Return Center. Tell us about that.
I would definitely agree with you that I was also praying for a divine appointment, and just when we ended up sitting next to each other, it felt like just everything the universe was leading for us to talk and connect, and it's almost like we should have connected a long time ago, and years ago. It felt like we did connect years ago, and only now we realized it. It was all very interesting, but to jump right to it is that God has called us to fulfill and be fulfilling Isaiah chapter 49, verse 22, which says, God says, I'll raise up my hand in an oath to the nations. That includes Canada. And they will carry your sons in their arms and the daughters carried on the shoulders and bring them to Israel. And they really need the basics, don't they? They need like food, clothing, shelter, a decent, just a place to land. Sometimes coming from Ukraine war, coming from mud huts in Ethiopia, coming from all over the world. There's anti-Semitism in other places that you would maybe not have heard of in some of these areas of France, England, and they come here and need to learn a whole new language. Shekorim no Ivrit. That's Hebrew. I once made Aliyah myself 30 years ago almost, as a young boy, made my Aliyah, that means immigration, to the Promised Land, fulfilling the promise of the Promised Land, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and so you started this ministry years ago already, but Aliyah Return Center, there are many ministries under the umbrella of this ministry. One of the things that you do, of course, humanitarian aid in the Galilee region, but also I was really touched by the looking after lone soldiers in Israel. Talk to us a little bit quickly about that.
Yeah, people don't always recognize that when you come here to serve, like other very, very small countries, every man, woman, and child has a job to do. We're all important. We're all part of making life possible here in this interesting Middle East with not always the friendliest of neighbors. So lone soldiers are those who make Aliyah. They could be 18 years old, 19 years old. They make their immigration, Aliyah, immigration it's called. And they come here and they are drafted to serve in the Defense Force, the Israel Defense Forces. And they don't have a family to go back to tell how their time was being deployed. You know, for me, I've been deployed now 853 days, I believe it is, consecutive deployment right now, with minor breaks, just a moment here and a moment there, like when I was able to meet you. That was one of those moments. And so these they're called lone soldiers. Their families back in Ethiopia, back in some other country, and they really need a family. They really need a little bit of tender, loving care and show the love of the Messiah, the love of God, the God of Israel to them. And so we have 5 different cities where we help give them not only a place to stay, but some decent food, and maybe they need gear, maybe they need all kinds of stuff. Maybe they just need to come to a Passover dinner and not be all on their own, all alone in a room on their break. And they're giving everything to defend Israel, and it can be mentally straining. Some of them go through extra hard, traumatic just feelings. And so we're able to be that for them. That's one of the many things that we're able to do in this charity, which is registered in America and Canada, also called
That's good.
the Aliyah Return Center.
Aliyah Return Center.
Well, you do have a Canadian connection there through your wife, don't you? Her parents are in Canada.
She is Canadian. That means I've got to take off my shoes at the entrance of the house, and Israelis are kind of like, what is that about? I was like, it's a very good tradition of Canadians. And
it is.
You know, and I'll say that we just have to be so thankful, because when someone makes their immigration, you know, we sometimes take for granted the fact that people are like, hey, come to Passover over to my house. Hey, would you like to come for Tabernacles, Sukkot, over in my tabernacle this year? Would you like to come to Shabbat dinner at my house? For them, they don't have that community. They don't have that surrounding, and you can feel lonely. I myself, when I came here, everybody's all together, and I'm just like trying to get the footing, and we're able to help them. Sometimes a hug is worth more than $1,000.
Oh, yes,
I'll tell you what, a hug.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true.
That's amazing.
So one of the things you do is you really do report a lot on what's going on right now, current in Israel. And of course, there's a lot of activity going on with Persia, ancient Persia and Iran. I saw a video that you did just recently on that subject. Tell us about that.
Indeed. I think that for people who, for them, war is far away in a Korean peninsula or Vietnam or Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere else, they don't remember what it's like to actually have war in their homes, at their doorstep, in their backyard. And for us, it's a very small country, the size of New Jersey. I don't know what that would be in Canada, the size of a very small Prince Edward Island. It's about the size of Prince Edward Island. And so you have to actually all come together to survive. People think Israel's way massive and there's millions of Jewish people. There are just a total of, 7-8 million Jewish people here in total. That's all. That's it here in Israel. There's others around the world, not that much more than that, actually. And so we all have to come together and defend it. But when we look and we see our friends, when we were attacked and massacred on the 7th of October, our people, taken hostage and all the grotesque things that I don't want to talk about right now, and the pools of blood that I stood in, the bodies that I saw of my friends, my neighbors, my countrymen and women. And now there's trees growing out of where those pools of blood were. Trees are growing out because we've planted that area next to where that music festival was, and so on.
Yeah.
So, but when I look at that and I say we all have to come together in order to survive, and I look at the only people that stood with us, they were called the evangelical Christians around the world, and lesser known, the people of Iran. The people of Iran are really our friends. They love us, the people of Iran. It's very not much spoken about. But now the regime leaders are the terrorist heads that fund all the terrorists that attack us, that did that massacre. Hamas, the Hezbollah that did so many missiles killing our children and all that. But the people of Iran love us. And you know what? We love them. We love them and want to see them be able to have that freedom that they do desire. And I feel we are flow on the same wavelength of wanting to live a life that's free and to, like King Cyrus, like Esther, like Daniel in the Bible, how they were like King Cyrus. That's the way we believe, the vision we have too.
That's a rich history, isn't it? All those biblical leaders that we read about, that have helped Israel at key times in their history. So that's not lost. That's not lost in God. And that's why I believe what's going on in Israel, or in Iran, Persia right now is very significant. I just read this just the other day that 97% of the people of Iran do not support their government or their agenda. Wow. I was shocked it was that high.
It's true. 97% do not. And what's more is that there is, I think it's 75,000 mosques. Only about 25,000 are actually being used, something like that. I know 60 were burned right now by the protesters. It's just they're feeling that Islam, and that's the head of Shiite Islam, the 12er, there's the 9er, there's the 12er Shiites. And then, of course, you have the Sunnis as the greater global, but the Shiites are a smaller amount, the actual bloodline, some of them the bloodline of Muhammad. But they feel let down by that, by the extremism, by the brutality, morality police. You have a curl coming out of your head covering, and you're beaten to death. Your friend was caught with some alcohol in his car. You're also beaten almost to death. It happened to a friend of mine, my friend Ramin, beaten almost to death because his friend had alcohol hidden in a bag. Okay, I mean, they're feeling let down, and they're looking towards something else. They're looking back to the history that was with the Shah. They had a pipeline of oil going to Ashkelon from there in Iran. And now when they're just chanting death to Israel all day and death to the West, death to America, which includes you guys, North America. And when they say that, what kind of blessing is that bringing? None. It's bringing death and destruction, and that's all the devil knows how to do is kill, steal, destroy. Doesn't know how to build, doesn't know how to build anything, and their proxies, I hope, will see that too. The proxies in Lebanon, the proxies in Gaza, the proxies in Yemen, and the proxies in Syria, and the proxies in Iraq.
Listening to you, I think this program could be 3 or 4 hours long. And it would be very interesting as far as I'm concerned. Tell us a little bit about your role in the IDF. I was really quite fascinated with that when I met you.
Yeah, so I'm a sergeant major. I've got the shepherd staff, I have to carry that as I'm deployed the whole time.
You're packing.
Staff. And you got to be a good shepherd. I know that was as someone who believes in God, as someone who believes in the Messiah of Israel. I thought, I never wanted to be in the Army. I don't have any desire to be in the Army. I don't want to have to defend or guard anything or blow up tunnels, which is what I do, and scan tunnels. And I don't care about tunnels. But here's the thing is you realize that biblically, almost all the heroes of the Bible were good shepherds. And some of those heroes of the Bible taught about what good shepherds need to do. It's not enough to just And there's judgment against bad shepherds in the book of Ezekiel, the book of Jeremiah. There's judgment against bad shepherds. What do good shepherds do? First of all, we should know that there's a big good shepherd above us all. We all need to follow the example of the big good shepherd. And he says, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You know, the thing is, you can't just lead the sheep to the water and the green pastures. If the wolf comes to the lair and takes, let's just say, 251 of the sheep into the lair of the wolf, that's called a Hamas tunnel, you are a good shepherd. You need to leave the 99 and you need to go, and this is biblical, and go bring back those sheep to the sheepfold. Leave the 99, go search for the lost sheep. We don't always understand that that's also a responsibility for all of us to be good shepherds. It's not enough to just say, I love you. Let's just say you say, I love you to your wife, and then someone smacks her up and you just say, well, no, you just need to say, no, that's not acceptable, you know. And so you know what I mean? Being a good shepherd is part of it. It's part of the existence for us here, and it's not just for those guys who want to be soldiers. No, we all are mandatory by law. Every able-bodied man and woman are mandatory to serve. And I'm a sergeant major, and what I do is I believe that God is calling me to be the good shepherd. It's not a career choice. It's just for this time of the Swords of Iron War, and after that it'll be done. And I'm just, now that we've brought back, by the help of God, by the help of many others, also, to bring back the last hostage living and deceased. That's a miracle right there. The fact that Iran attacked us again and again and again, and we were able to swat those out of the sky, it's miraculous. That's beyond just technological advancements. It's God's hand advancing.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, because when I was in Israel, that was my fourth time, but the previous time had been quite a few years prior. And so I was able to notice what I thought was a difference in the general population, general attitude in
the atmosphere.
In the atmosphere.
Right?
And my perception was that the divide between Messianic and non-Messianic Jew has really been closed. There used to be a difference. There used to be this distinction. It almost seems like it's not that relevant in Israel today. If you're Jewish, you're Jewish, whether you're one of those that you consider Messianic or otherwise. What would you say about that?
I would definitely say that, I'll just say a friend, I won't say his name, but a known rabbi here in Israel said, listen, and I realized I better get off after this. They're calling me, but he says to me, listen, you have risked your life for your country. You've risked your life for me. I would take a bullet for you. If I had to, I would lay my life down for you. And you might believe something that I don't fully understand yet, or I don't know about yet, but I recognize you're my brother. And he said, and there's other people around the world who I thought were my brothers, and it turns out they're not. They don't care about me. Even if they're Jewish, some of those may choose to go against me and go against this land and our struggle for survival, and choose to repeat Hamas lies or blatant lies against Israel and forward things without checking them because of it's really a spiritual, anti-Semitism is a spiritual thing. So that's what I think. People don't recognize this because they're trying to explain it like, if I give the facts this way and I give the facts this way, it'll all work out. And they don't understand, you can give those facts, and that's good, but it's not the fullness of the problem and the issue. The devil, the enemy, Yetzer Hara, wants to wipe out Israel and prove the Bible to be a fake book.
That's true.
And he's not going to succeed. Not going to succeed. There's a lot of prophecies, even about the gathering and the Aliyah of us coming home. There's 700 of those. Even if they're not talked about in the church, they still are there in the Bible, and they are going to happen, and they're going to return just like I did years ago.
Yeah, well, we talk about it here in our ministry here quite a bit, and we believe strongly in it. I really am thankful for you, and I want to ask you this question. How should we be praying for Israel right now?
Yes, I like what you said about the lighthouse, this building that we believe to build. Not renovate, but build a building 5 stories, just like is our way right now for 13 years of our charity existing, where we've provided this free stay and food, clothing, shelter, job training, teach a man to fish in the Galilee. And so this building, we're seeing anti-Semitism just skyrocket. And there's people who complain about that. There's people who say, oh no, what are we going to do? And then there's people who go and say, who's going to stand with us? Who is going to help prepare a place to welcome those people in the promised land once they run here with nothing, instead of them being on the street, you know. And another thing people don't realize is, even though we help Jewish people who return, we also help Arabs, the local Arabs that are here.
That's right.
And that's not something that everyone is, I wish that would be on CNN instead of some of the other stuff. You know, higher learning, we give them what is it called? Academic scholarships for higher learning. We're able to be the hands and feet of the Messiah, physically, really, practically, in this time. And I think that people need to know about that, and they need to say, am I going to just be a complainer, or am I going to be part of what God is doing? Am I going to be, Yeshua said, he who gathers not with me scatters abroad.
Yeah.
You know, are we going to be those who gather the Jewish people along with him? Are we going to be those sheep nations who hear the voice of the good shepherd? Or are we just going to do our own thing, go our own way like goats? And we know how that ends. Are we going to find ourselves on the wrong end of Armageddon, the wrong side, you know, of Armageddon?
Yeah.
And hey, thank you for having me, guys. May God bless you guys. What a blessing. And thank you for your support, and all those who watch and who are standing together. Thank you. And I saw your messages. They're great. Whoever doesn't know about the D-Words messages, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing boldly the way you do.
All right. God bless you.
God bless you.
See you soon. Blessings.
Help change the spiritual climate of Canada by becoming a monthly partner with LifeLine today. All donors will receive this year's LifeLine Today fridge magnet, a reminder that you stand together with Dick and Joan for Canada. Pledge your support of $25 a month and receive this silver keychain and pendant declaring Joshua 1:9. Partner at $50 a month and receive as our thank you the Revival History of Canada by Dr. Luke Niebergall. This book will captivate you with the rich revival history of Canada as we look forward to the next national move of God. LifeLine Today would also like to send you the large print Amplified Study Bible with over 5,000 concise study notes to help better understand God's Word and enrich your walk with the Lord. It is our thank you gift to you for your faith-filled partnership of $100 a month. Your tax-deductible donation will empower this ministry to release the prophetic voice of God across our nation. Call today and say yes to becoming a partner with Dick and Joan.
Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." God is in control, and he works all things for our good, even when life doesn't always make sense. It's not saying that everything is good, but that God uses everything for our ultimate good. We need to trust God's plan in all circumstances. When you're faced with challenges, remember, God is working for your good. We're here to pray with you. If you'd like prayer today, give us a call at 403-942-0123 or email us at prayercenter@dickandjoan.com.
Joan, if you can imagine, I was there with 120, mostly journalists and television, radio personalities. We were put onto 3 buses, and as far as I could see, there were no seats, virtually no seats, maybe a few here and there. And Chaim gets on our bus, and I'm near the door, and I've got a seat beside me, and he sits there. What a divine appointment is what.
It was a divine appointment.
Especially to discover that his in-laws are Canadian and that I knew who they were. And they knew who we were. And so it became a smaller world. And but what he's doing, I want to just make this clear, is phenomenal. It's huge. He's a Messianic believer. He's been in the IDF. He's been in the Special Forces. He's very highly regarded in Israel. And he's doing these things to bring Jews back to Israel. And so he has kind of the Aliyah Return Center, he calls it. So Jews who make Aliyah, which means they return to Israel, the land, he's helping them assimilate, helping them get established. What a profound work that is. I believe this is a biblical work.
It is. And, you know, he's doing so much more than that. As you can see by the interview, he is a passionate visionary, a young man who's very passionate about what he's doing. And what he's doing as well is he's trying to educate Christians and others who love Israel and put tools in their hands and information in their hands. They need to know what's really going on in Israel and what they can really do. Like you asked him, how can we pray for you? What can we do? And he said, really what we need is we need funding. And I thought that was interesting because that's the very first thing that we felt to do when you came home and told me about his ministry. I said, we need to support him.
Yeah.
So just to say, if you're supporting our program, LifeLine, you are supporting Chaim in Israel because we are going to be supporting him monthly.
We are already.
It's one of the things that we're doing. And also, Dick, we support another Israeli mission to feed the hungry as well.
It's a Feed Israel program, feeds the hungry, feeds the poor families, distributes. It's called Laket.
Yeah.
And we've done that for quite a few
years.
And now we've added this ministry as well that we want to support. I do believe this, and I want to speak to you as a partner of this ministry and a viewer of this program, that when we bless Israel in this way, in tangible ways and in spiritual and just natural ways, we are in the center of the will of God.
That's right.
And how do I know that? Well, sometimes you just have to look at what the devil's doing.
Yeah.
Well, what's he want? He wants to eradicate Israel off the map.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? No other people group have been exterminated in camps, in the camps like Auschwitz. 6 million, 1.3 million children.
Oh my.
How can you not say God's hand is for that people? And it's the devil wants to eradicate them off the face of the earth. They're the proof, the living proof the Bible is true.
But Israel is God's prophetic time clock.
Yeah.
And so, like Chaim just said, he said, you know, some people don't believe what God is doing with the Jewish people, and they don't believe the scriptures about the Jewish people coming back again and God dealing with them. But he said it's going to happen, so you're going to believe it someday.
I have a solid gold pin on my lapel. It's not our typical logo with Canada and Israeli flag. It's actually a logo of the city of Jerusalem. Solid gold, and it was given to me by the mayor of Jerusalem some years ago, so I'm wearing that. I wear it all the time, actually. I really appreciate it. So I'm glad we're supporting Israel. I'm glad that we stand with them. Oh, we need to do that.
Yeah,
we need to do that.
For the peace.
It's so easy for everybody. Joan, I'm even talking to people about a Jerusalem prayer breakfast, and I'm just surprised that Christians who have a very ambivalent attitude towards this kind of thing. We need to understand that when we stand with Israel, we get the attention of God.
Amen.
He favors you and He blesses you. So, there's some opposition in the world. We thank you for being a part of this program. Thank you for supporting it and being a partner. We wouldn't exist, Joan, without.
No, we wouldn't.
People ask, "Oh, you must have funding." No. Our partners. That's it. That's the only thing that we have, and we produce everything by the airtime. So thank you for being a part of this. Remember this, as we work together as partners, as we work together as brothers and sisters in Christ, Canada will be saved.
Amen.
This program is supported by viewers like you, and we thank you for partnering with us. We want to hear from you. Send us your prayer requests, praise reports, and comments about the program. To watch past episodes, learn about the ministry, or contact us, visit our website at dickandjoan.com. You can also find us on Facebook at LifeLine Today with Dick and Joan, and on our YouTube channel, Dick and Joan TV.